Hi guys, welcome back to my channel Intro to Robo. In my last video, we learned how to code the LED using text coding. Today, we will be learning about loops and then we will also make projects using loops. Let's begin. So, what are loops? Loops means repetition. While coding the Arduino, we use two kinds of loop, for loop and while loop. For loop repeats itself for a certain number of time until the condition becomes false, while loop repeats continuously for infinite times until the condition becomes false. There is very little difference between them. Today, we will be learning about for loop and also makes projects using it. The for loop syntax uses increment and decrement. Increment means addition of 1. It's denoted by plus plus. I've created the variable a, so I've written a plus plus. Decrement means subtraction of 1 and is denoted by minus minus. So, in the syntax of for loop, we first write for, open parenthesis, create a variable. I've created integer a and then we assign a value to it. Then we put semicolon, we write our condition. Condition can be equal to, lesser than, greater than, or it can be lesser than equal to, greater than equal to, or not equal to. Then we put another semicolon, we use increment or decrement and then we close the bracket. Now let me show you guys an example. So as you can see in my example, first I have written for and then I open parenthesis, made an integer a and I've assigned it a value 0 and then I put a semicolon and the condition I have used here is lesser than equal to 5 and then I have used increment. So first, in this example there are three conditions, lesser than 5, equal to 5 and greater than 5. So as my value is 0 which is lesser than 5, it comes under this condition, the first one. Then after the increment, 1 will be added to 0. So 0 plus 1 is 1. 1 is lesser than 5. So it will again come under this condition which is true as I have used this condition in my code. Then again increment will take place. 1 plus 1 is equals to 2. Again 2 is lesser than 5. So it will again come under this first condition and the code will be again executed and run inside the loop because it's true. Then after increment the value will become 3 which is again this condition. Again the loop will take place. The value will become 4 and then it will become 5 which will come under the second condition. As this condition is also included in my code, the computer will run the loop once more. Then the value of a will become 5 plus 1 is equal to 6 which will come under the third condition, greater than 5. But as this condition is not included in my code, the condition becomes false and the computer will exit the loop. So as you can see, for loop is used when we want to repeat for a certain number of time. In this example, we have repeated only 5 times. So when the value of a becomes 6, the computer exits the loop. Now we will use this same example in tinkercad and see how it works. So first we will take the Arduino. Now go to code. And change it to text coding. Let me remove this code first. Now in the void setup, we will type serial.begin and in brackets 9600 and semicolon. Now we will type the for loop as per the syntax. I have used the same values I used in the example. Now open brackets and in the brackets we will type what should happen for 5 times. So open the flower bracket and now I will type serial.print open parenthesis and double quotes, intro to robo. You can type anything as per your wish, and then close the double quotes and parenthesis and semicolon in the end. Now close the flower brackets. Now our code is complete. As you can see that we have written the code in the void setup and not in the void loop, because if we write this code in the void loop, it will repeat continuously for infinite times, and the intro to robo will be printed infinitely many times, which will then there will be no use for the for loop. So I've started the simulation and you can see that intro to robo is printed for 5 times. Let me just write ln so that intro to robo is printed in different line each time. Now let me run the simulation, and as you can see that intro to robo is printed for 5 times in different line. Now moving to our final project, we will be now controlling the servo motor using for loop. There are 3 kinds of motor: DC motor, go motor and servo motor. DC motor and go motor rotate for 360 degrees, whereas servo motor rotates only for 180 degrees. We will now connect the signal pin to the digital pin of the Arduino. Then we will connect the power to the 5 volt of the Arduino and ground to the ground of the Arduino. Moving to the code part, we need to first include a library. So go to libraries, and when you scroll down you can see servo library and press on include. Now you can see that the servo library is included. Now we need to name our servo. I am naming my servo S semicolon. Now go to void setup and type serial.begin. And then in the next line, s.attach. S is the name of our servo, and attach is used to tell in which pin it has been connected to, which is 8 in our project. Now go to void loop. Now we will use the for loop here. For open parenthesis and then create a variable. I've created the variable a and assigned it a value 0, which is the number of degrees in which the motor is right now, and then a lesser than equal to 180, to which we want our servo to rotate, and then use increment. As then open the flower brackets, and then we will type a dot write and again a in the brackets, semicolon, and close the flower bracket. And then again we will use another for loop, but this time it will be decrement. Now what will happen is, first the servo motor will rotate from 0 to 180 degrees because of the first for loop, and then it will rotate back from 180 degrees to 0 because of the second for loop. As you can see that in the second for loop, we have first declared the integer a as 180, and then a is greater than equal to 0, and then we have used decrement a minus minus. Again open flower brackets, s dot write, and in brackets a, that is the value of a. Remember to use delays, otherwise the rotation will be very fast and not be seen, and the component can be damaged as well. So use delays and close the flower bracket in the end. Now our code is complete. Let us run the simulation. Now you can see the servo is rotating from 0 to 180 degrees and back to 0 from 180 degrees. Now we will do the same using real components. So as you can see that I have opened Arduino ID and then included the libraries. For some components we need to go to tools, and then into manage libraries we need to go and install the libraries, but for servo it is already downloaded, so you need to just include it. Then we have named the servo. As you can see, I have just copy pasted the code here, So now let me upload it. Now our code is complete uploaded. So these are the components. We need jumper wires, Arduino and servo motor. Now as you can see that the servo motor has these kind of pins which cannot be directly connected to the Arduino. So first we will use the male-to-male jumper wires to connect them to the Arduino. The orange is the signal pin which needs to connect it to the digital pin. Brown is the ground which needs to be connected to the ground, and red is the power which needs to be connected to the 5 volt. Now our connections are also done and code is also uploaded. So let me connect it to the power source. Now as you can see that it is rotating as per our code from 0 to 180 degrees and from 180 to 0 degrees. I have used the servo motor in one of my shorts. The link is in the description box. Please watch. Now we have come to the end of my video guys. Hope you guys liked it. Please like, share and subscribe. If you have any doubts, ask me in the comment section. Bye.